Hello everybody, in today's video I want to talk about Vizcom Styles. I want to show you how to create your own style, how to use it, and I also want to share a little trick with you on how to apply a style to your design that uses a different method. So if you're curious about how to apply and work with styles in Vizcom, then you should watch this video. Let's go. Alright, here we are in Vizcom. I already created a style, and this is how you go about it. Press the plus symbol at the top bar and go to the style, then you can create a style. Just go into upload and select all the images that you want to be part of your style. Select them and it will automatically put them all in the box. For this example, I used Apple because it has very unique style, right? And very different objects. And then you just press train and it will translate all these images into a single style that you can apply to your own sketches. I went on and created additional styles just to test also some variations of how the images impact the style. So I used like slight variations of the same Apple images to see how they impact the results. The model trains the style, and also the time that it takes basically depends on the amount of images and the quality, I suppose. And you need at least 4 images, and you can apply up to 30 different images. So that's on you, and apparently the images that you choose are really important in terms of how the results come out when you use the style, right? So once you have the styles trained, then you go from the workbench into the studio. On the right, you have these different modes, right? The modify that we use mostly. Then we have the variate, the 3D one. Then we have the legacy one, which is the one that we will be using today. And we have the adjust tab, but we will have to use the legacy one. And here you can basically say which style you want to use to render them. You can apply like a prompt. You can also ask it to describe the image itself, so you don't have to come up with wording for what you want to create. And then you just can basically from this list, select one of the default styles, or now all your trained styles that you trained within this file are available for you to apply here. So I pre-trained with the Japanese minimalist style, and now I say it should consider this one 100% and the sketch itself just 50%. So I want the style to dominate the overall results compared to the lines itself. So I just do that, generate 4 images batch-wise with the Japanese minimalism, but also with the Apple style, and with the slight variations of the Apple style that we just created. So then we just have to wait till the images are generated in order for us to review and evaluate the results. So this is the images that I use for the Japanese minimalist style. And here are the results. So it's very minimalist indeed, very white material, but I'm not really feeling satisfied with the results, to be honest. Here's the first results with the Apple style. Again, I don't know what I expected, but somehow I was hoping that it will give me something that really looks like Apple. And yeah, that I don't have to design to begin with like an Apple product, because then I also don't need the style anymore, right? If I have to do all the work manually by myself. So I thought maybe if I remove the description and type my own description, so make sure that this is a peanut roller. So that's the object that I actually wanted to be, and apply the style then. And then I noticed that when we apply a style, it also adds words to the prompt automatically in order to make the style consistent. So when you switch between different styles, make sure to remove whatever was there before from a different style. But even with that approach, I feel like the result was not really satisfying. Like everything is just white. I mean, also the Japanese minimalist inspiration that I provided was mostly white, but still I hoped for more transferability. And also with the sub-styles from Apple that I created, where there was more focus on the color, I feel like it really failed to actually apply the style that I was looking for. So if you worked with the style before, let me know or show me your results. So tell me how to actually use it better in a way that it's useful, because that way I feel like it's just a waste of time. I was really hopeful for this feature because I think it can save a lot of time, right? If you already have a consistent brand, to have a model that is unable to understand the specifics of a style and just to handle like a rough sketch, so it would translate the style automatically, that would be a huge help and a huge inspirator to apply brand styling consistently across different products, right? But this way it doesn't really work. And then I figured out there's a different feature. It's in the adjust tab, which is really interesting, right? So the original intent of this feature is that you have a design already finished and you want to place it into a context. And often the original image that you have and your context shot, they look obviously different because the lighting is completely different. The light direction is completely different. Maybe the color, saturation, all these things are so different that it's obvious that they are not the same, right? So what Unify is supposed to do is that you place two separate images over each other and it will unify them so they look like they belong together. So that's also what I did here. To try first, I created this image with Midjourney that is like really stylized. We have a sketchy style, painted image, and I just basically scaled down my line drawing, positioned it where I actually want it to be in my scene, and then I just go to the adjustments on the right and click the unify button. Then I have to wait several seconds or minutes before I get the unified result. And here's what it looks like. I think that was much closer to the effects that I was hoping for with the styles. So I started to experiment also, like what if I place it in an Apple store? Do I then get like an Apple style? I feel like this didn't succeed very much, but I feel like this is very interesting of a technique to use, right? So what if we don't put it context, but we just basically apply the whole thing to a mood board where we have Apple products, and it basically just got rid of my line drawing altogether. So what if I place my already rendered image in there? How does that impact the unify command? And here it unified by making sure that the background color is the same everywhere. Also interesting, but it didn't really apply an Apple style to my object, which is what I was hoping for. So there's also limitations to this whole thing, but overall I feel like still it is better in applying a style than the actual style feature that Vizcom provides. Another one here, I wanted to see how it considers the perspective. And I feel like it did so rather well. Also the way it shaded it with the dots, it's really consistent. So what if we just take a mood board instead? A mood board with the line drawing, will it apply the material sufficiently? And I think it did consider, it gave some texture, right, to the color, the shadow. Overall, it lacks detail, obviously. Maybe we could refine with a different line drawing, but I feel it works much better than the style, especially with very stylized images, right? So for my last example, I just created this Spider-Man hero shot with dot matrix shading, really cool style. And then I got my own version of a sand hourglass. So I feel like it's funny because the style is really understandably related to the context, right? Even though it's not an environment, at least the colors and the way it's shaded is working together. So this was my little trick that I figured out by experimenting and exploring. So I hope in this video you were able to understand how to create your own style, and maybe you find ways to utilize it to your own good. If you found it, let me know, tell me how you did it. If not, then maybe try to use the unify command instead and see if you can apply a style by unifying different images into a whole picture that works together well. If you like what I do, follow, like, and subscribe for more. Otherwise, have a nice day. See you around. Thank you.